In this box there is the best MacBook you can buy right now, and no, it is not a fresh M4 MacBook Pro or M3 Air. This is the old but gold 2020 M1 MacBook Air that I bought for $700. And before you rush into comments saying that it is a 3-year-old processor with old design, I want to try and prove you the opposite. How does it hold up in 2024, and should you buy one? This laptop changed everything when it was introduced in 2020. As every tech guy was saying, Apple made a quantum leap from the last Intel processor to the first Apple Silicon processor, and I felt that to the fullest. And to this day in 2024, the M1 chip amazes me every time I work on my computer. Well, how does the base M1 processor holds up? I mean, it's beyond all of my expectations. If you don't load your laptop with high-performance software and using it for browsing, studying, calls, and some basic work, it is more than enough. As for me, I was pushed my computer to the limits, mostly with countless apps running in the background and specifically photo and video editing. And this MacBook Air can handle everything that I do. Of course, with some limitations, but sometimes I even think how this thing renders 4K heavy video while running Chrome with 10 open tabs. So the performance of M1 really speaks for itself. I bought the base model with 8 gigs of unified memory and 256 GB SSD. And let me explain why. First, it's the cheapest. As for storage, Apple storage upgrades cost a lot of money, and for less than that you can buy an external SSDs to work off or store your archive files. And that's exactly what I do. I keep most of my files on external drives. I have a lot of them. But I know what you're thinking. External drives are not always reliable, and I learned this the hard way. About 9 years ago, I had a hard drive full of client footage completely dying on me. Recovery took a week and cost me a fortune. However, luckily today, data recovery is much easier and cheaper. Just last week, my SD card, the one with all the footage for my previous video, just stopped working. My Mac couldn't read it, my camera couldn't read it, total disaster. But thankfully, I remembered that Wondershare reached out to me before and hooked me up with the license to their tool Recovered to test it out. Here I'm connecting the SD card to my Mac can't read it, but Wondershare Recovered can. Around 30 minutes later, almost all of my footage was found and restored, and that video is already live on my channel. It is actually a data setup built around this exact MacBook. I tried other apps for data recovery before, and I must say that Recovered looks great in comparison. The design is great, the interface is super friendly and easy to use. But most importantly, it works. If you accidentally deleted all your files or your hard drive was corrupted, it doesn't mean that it's gone forever. This tool can recover lost files from over 2,000 different storage devices, whether it's SD cards, hard drives, or even crashed computers. It handles over 1,000 file formats, so whether it's photos, videos, documents, or even emails, it's got you covered. Plus, it's Mac-friendly with super fast scanning and real-time file previews to make recovery quick and stress-free. If you've ever dealt with corrupted files or dead hard drives, give Recovered a shot. I'll drop a link to it in the description. Huge thanks to Wondershare Recovered for sponsoring this video and saving my footage. And this hard drive and this dead MacBook Pro that I splashed water on will be next on the queue to recover the data. So with 256 GB SSD, I am able to store the macOS, all the necessary apps for my work and fun, and also my current work files, photos and videos. And as for unified memory, of course, if you need the performance and you have some extra dollars, you should buy 16 GB or even 32 GB models. But I watched several comparison videos choosing between 8 GB and 16 GB and surprisingly find out how the unified memory actually works. So if the MacBook is running out of the unified memory, it borrows the memory from the SSD. So ultimately, if you have 8 gigs, the MacBook extended it with a few more gigs on hard performance-based tasks. So that's why I bought the 8 GB and 256 GB combination. Another thing that really amazes me about this laptop is battery life. Apple says that it runs up to 18 hours, so with basic tasks it can easily last for 2 days of work. I tested it and can confirm that this MacBook Air is the beast speaking of battery life. I spent the whole day with it, writing scripts, on calls, and had a few hours of runtime the day after. Of course, there are some parts of this M1 MacBook Air that are worse than its successors, but not that much. The design is iconic, yes, but in today's world it feels a little old, with big bezels on the display, more rounded frame. The display on M2 and M3 is slightly bigger, slightly brighter. These models is slightly lighter in general than the M1 Air. The camera on M1 is only 720p, while on M2 is 1080p, which I think is not a big problem. When using cameras, it's not about the quality of the camera, it's more about the exposure. So if you're using natural light, you'll get the same good quality on your calls. This MacBook Air supports only one external display. For me, it's not a problem because I'm a one-monitor desk setup guy, and I've already tested M1 Air in my setup. works pretty good. So here's the biggest thing why M1 Air is an overkill, is its price. It is the cheapest MacBook on the market right now, and it is the main advantage above all the other models. At this point, in late 2024-2025, you can't buy this laptop on the official Apple Store, but there are deals out there on other tech stores. In my local tech store on Black Friday, there is a deal for $500 for the new version of M1 Air, and you can always buy the renewed version for $500. While comparing it to other MacBooks, there are no such deals even close to it. So the difference between the M1 Air and the next cheapest MacBook on the market is literally $300. I think it's just a no-brainer purchase for all the people who want to save some money and still get the beast machine. For all the students, for all the Apple first-timers. Literally for everyone starting their careers. In fact, I bought 3 MacBooks in the last couple of years for me and my family, and I will definitely buy it in a heartbeat again. I'll continue to test this computer, and I'm curious if Apple can beat this M1 Air in the future with a great value for money model. Subscribe to the channel, I'm only 3,200 subscribers away from 10K. Thank you for your support, peace.